If you're hearing this in your Rolls Royce, then Donald Trump's tax plan is for you.
You're rich as hell. We're going to give you a tax cut?
But for everyone else, there's Kamala Harris's plan.
Under my plan, more than 100 million Americans will get a tax cut.
Because that guy in the Ferrari doesn't need another break. But Kamala Harris knows you sure could use one. Paid for by FFPAC, ffpac.org. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
It's a case of murder and intrigue that has gripped Western Australia. Tonight, though, it remains unresolved. High-profile barrister Lloyd Rayney is now a free man after a judge found him not guilty of murdering his wife Corryn 5 years ago. Outside court, he told reporters it's a terrible tragedy that he still doesn't know who killed his wife. In a moment, I'll be speaking with our reporter Jamie Freeston in Perth. He's been covering the trial. First, though, here's his report on a case now with a lot more questions and answers.
A triumphant Lloyd Rayney emerged from court into a massive media scrum. Surrounded by his legal team and his 15-year-old daughter by his side, the 50-year-old remained composed and in control.
It's been 5 years since Sarah and Caitlin have been without their mum.
After a 3-month trial and 2 weeks of deliberations, he was acquitted of willful murder and manslaughter.
Congratulations, Lloyd.
For Corryn Rayney's family, her sister and father, the verdict was a devastating blow, but they expressed their thanks to police investigators.
And for their determination and perseverance over the last 5 years in seeking justice for Corryn. Our gratitude and thanks also goes to Mr. Aegis and the prosecution team for finally giving Corryn a voice.
Corryn Rayney's body was found buried in a bush grave in Kings Park in central Perth 5 years ago. While police named her husband the prime and only suspect, he wasn't charged with her murder until more than 3 years later.
Welcome to a deep, dark, dank, moist basement somewhere in the bowels of Georgia. We are doing a follow-up to our last case on Miss Corryn Rayney. We did receive the articles from our super-duper fanned. I can't talk no more. But Cody came through for us down in Australia. She was a great sport. Sent us a ton of articles and the questions to some of our answers about the driver's license, the surveillance, and some other things that go on down there in Western Australia. So welcome back, Mr. Rob.
What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing this morning? Evening, afternoon?
Whenever you're listening.
Whenever you're listening to this.
And if you're drinking, go ahead.
Yeah. There's never a wrong time to do that.
No.
Unless you're in traffic.
And still, if you're in rush hour traffic, you're not going to kill anybody.
Or Skidmore, Missouri.
Yes.
Nobody's looking at you.
Nobody's going to ask a question. But yes, going back to Corryn Rayney, for those of you that may have found this and not listened to the actual episode, please hit pause and go back and listen to the Corryn Rayney episode, because you need to understand how messed up this case is.
Whole botched investigation.
Yes, I mean, that's the biggest thing. And then Cody sent us a couple of articles, one of which was there was a forensic expert in the media down under that said that he was guilty of sin and was shouting it from the rooftops, and Mr. Rayney took offense to that and took his ass to took his ass to court. And after 2 years, he was awarded a $2.5 million settlement for defamation of character. Now, you may be thinking, man, that's kind of low going after somebody. And that's what we thought.
Yeah.
But come to find out, this genius was at was it a public hearing or forum?
Yeah, he was making a big spectacle. He's trying to get everybody to look at him. And I guess he's trying to look like a big shot, barking out, all these things that he thought had went down.
Yeah, at a public seminar on the investigation, this guy, Dr. Reynolds, was recorded saying there was no need for a cold case review because the offender was identified. And then he kept shouting over Lloyd's lawyer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're a dumbass, dude.
Yeah, that was stupid.
I mean, and then the lawyer said she was extremely upset because he had a biased view of the case and he clearly inferred that Rayney was guilty of sin, even though he had just been found not guilty in the court system. And so they've got a picture of this idiot. His name's Dr. Reynolds, and the picture they found, I guess, maybe like right after he's
been told.
Because he looks like, well, shit.
Yeah, he's like, maybe I should not have had that extra cup of coffee before I went to that seminar.
I mean, I just don't get it, man.
Well, if you go back and look at the whole case, and again, if you hadn't listened to the episode, please go back and listen to it. But if you look at, I can't say he's wrong.
Yeah, I mean, but you could have done it a little better.
You could have been had a little more couth about yourself.
He states in a public forum, I would stake my kids' lives on the fact that your client is guilty of sin. But you have no evidence to back it up.
But that means he was pretty sure on what he was feeling.
Hell, Ricky, I was high when I said that.
What kind of mushrooms do y'all have down in Australia?
Must be some good ganja.
Some good stuff. So,
but yeah, I mean, there's one thing to go and say, hey, there's a lot of circumstantial evidence, and allegedly, if we were on the jury, we would say this. But, I mean, you don't shout a lawyer down in a public forum.
No, you're going to burn. They'll burn you for that.
Even in the States, they will. But good God, man. It's just, I don't know. Now, we didn't really touch on the surveillance because we were not real sure on how that worked. And Cody sent us a document basically answering a couple of questions, and then she gave us her theory, which we'll save her theory till the end. But she says, yes, in Australia, they do have to carry their license with them when they drive. So that whole thing about her not having her purse or always leaving it at home, that's kind of shady.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Yeah. And then for the surveillance question that we had, they have very strict surveillance laws.
Yeah, they're super strict.
It's not like here where I can record my conversation with Rob as long as I know I'm recording it.
Right.
Rob doesn't have to know. So down there, it's pretty good. I mean, it says that a person shall not install, use, or maintain, or cause to be installed, used, or maintain an optical surveillance device to A, record visually or observe private activity to which that person is not a party of. So that's the biggest difference than in the state. Or to record visually a private activity to which that person is a party. Penalty for such is a $5,000 fine or 12 months or both. And if you're observing,
if you're a corporation, man, you really get it.
$50,000.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of smackaroonies.
That's a lot. I would be jumping up in the court yelling at somebody's lawyer at that point. Like, what do you mean? No,
yeah, and then it goes on to say that, I think this says Article 9, maybe not. But anyway, it says prohibition of publication or communication of private conversations subject to a person shall not knowingly publish or communicate a private conversation or a report or record of a private conversation or a record of a private activity that has come to the person's knowledge as a direct or indirect result of use of a listening device or an optical surveillance device. Same penalties apply. So he knew that he was breaking the law.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, he's poor, pitiful me down there. Well, I lost my law license. Well, dumbass, you knew what you was doing.
Yeah. 100% knew that was illegal. But then you go back to that whole thing, too. Some people just feel like they're untouchable.
Yeah, and we kind of hypothesized maybe, he did it and was like, well, I ain't going to tell nobody I did this. But my thing is, if you're not going to use it, go out there and destroy it.
Yeah.
And like he comes across, and he may not be this way, and I apologize because I've been on both sides of this fence.
Mm-hmm.
I've been, accused of things. Unfortunately, there's people in my family have been accused of things. Nothing like major law breaking, but just some
not murder.
Yeah, nitpicky shit.
Yeah.
There's always two sides to the story, but he seems, from our standpoint, because we don't have anything with him talking other than suing people, he seems from our standpoint that he's kind of thinks his shit don't stink.
Yeah, he's He's pretty pompous.
Yes. And he just looks it sometimes in some of the pictures. And I know people have resting asshole face. I do.
He's a big fat C word.
Yeah. It ends with an unt.
See you in Tahiti. So yeah. I feel like probably some people was kind of, the forensic investigator probably did not like him because typically people know each other in that line of work. And that's why I think the forensic evidence investigator kind of went after him in the courtroom. You know what I mean? Or went after him. You know, he was personal to him.
Yeah.
And he could have been friends with Corryn. We don't know.
He could have been. Well, there's one article she sent. This was from August of 2012, and it said weeks before Corryn was murdered, there was rumors circulating that her husband, Lloyd, was having an affair and had been paid $200,000 for a trial possibly involving Hancock prospecting. So there's your underlying motive.
There's your motive. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Given evidence, the Western Australian Deputy Chief Magistrate Elizabeth Woods told the court on Thursday, which this is in 2012, that Ms. Rayney came to her with concerns a week or two before her death. She said they had a conversation in which she told Ms. Rayney that she had heard some gossip that Lloyd had been paid $200,000 for a trial. Ms. Woods said the only name she had was Hancock, which she passed on to Ms. Rayney. And then it goes on to tell that the court previously heard that Rayney had been working for Hancock Prospecting and had been on a working holiday to Bali with billionaire Gina Reinhardt and his wife 4 months before Corryn's death. And then in a statement taken 2 days before Ms. Rainey's body was found, Ms. Woods said she had known Ms. Rayney socially for 5 years and knew Rayney from her days working at the DPP. In the OPP or the DPP?
You know me.
Corryn is a very conservative person who enjoyed work, she said. She was always busy, but I never saw her depressed. She is a determined person. Ms. Woods said that Ms. Rayney told her that Rayney had opened up a bank account which she did not have access to and that the family had lost money because of his gambling.
Mm.
She was thinking of subpoenaing. Man, going early in the morning.
Dude, words don't form. I get you.
She was thinking of subpoenaing Lloyd's clients to find out now how much he was getting paid. Ms. Woods said she told Ms. Rayney there were rumors that Rayney was, quote, involved with a girl. She said she believed the couple were going to have a discussion about the relationship, which we did cover. Corryn, however you want to say it, wanted to sort it out because of the children as well as a financial situation. This is strictly hearsay, but Ms. Woods says that she told her that she was planning on getting rid of Lloyd from the house.
Oh, he was on his way out.
Yeah.
And he did not want to pay child support.
No. And she wanted the house and she wanted the kids.
And alimony. I'm not sure if alimony's a thing over in Australia.
But with both of them making that, she could have probably gotten child support. It would have been hard.
Yeah.
How are you going to justify? Ma'am, you make $200,000 a year. Do you really need alimony?
Yeah, I know. True.
But anyway.
But in the United States, they would say,
yes.
Yes, I do. And the judge would go, okay, fair enough, awarded.
If you don't believe it, look at that Kelly Clarkson's going through. Her husband is a piece of shit.
He is, man.
And she's having to give that cat something like $24,000 a month.
Yes.
What the hell is up with people? But anyway, Ms. Wood states that she doesn't think that Corryn would just leave to get away from things as she is devoted to her children and she would want to leave with them if she was going to leave.
Yeah.
Again, the biggest thing here is how the police just bumbled it. If they had let the evidence lead them to Lloyd, it would have been one thing, but they zeroed in on him from the get-go and wouldn't take anything
They
else.
wouldn't hear anything else.
Yeah.
They 100%. That's another thing too. How many people just didn't like this guy? There's
maybe he had rubbed a lot of people the wrong way.
He seems sleazy. I mean,
we would call him Earl Shives here in the
yeah. I mean, for what we're reading and what we're taking in on him, he seems like a very sketchy, sleazy the ladies like to throw around the word narcissist. Maybe a lot of people just didn't like his ass.
Yeah.
And they were wanting to put him in jail.
So, I mean, you know, it's just, it's very odd. Now, getting into that Hancock prospecting.
That's the other thing.
It says that they had gone to Bali together on a privately chartered jet with one of the world's richest women, Gina Reinhardt.
Mm-hmm.
Lloyd was serving as a legal advisor to the company at the time. At the time, I can't breathe. I can't talk.
What's going on over there?
I don't know.
Same thing that was going on with me earlier. So.
It's crazy. She actually, no, I'm sorry. They had stayed at the villa at the luxury Bulgari resort in Bali's south. They were photographed on the plane. That's the big famous picture of them on the plane with
drinking
that big bottle of
champagne.
wine.
Is it wine? Yeah.
And cheese platter. He was working on and had been working on civil and commercial matters for Hancock Prospecting since 2005. And he had done a substantial amount of work for the company. He said that while the Hancock staff and advisors worked in a big villa set up as a temporary boardroom, the partners would go off shopping and on other excursions. What's funny is he couldn't recall the fees that they were paying him at the time. Bullshit.
Yeah, come on.
I know every time somebody pays me. Now, there was, in August of, I'm sorry, not in August, in the court proceedings, they did provide video footage showing Corryn going to and from her boot scooting class.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's legit.
Yeah.
That happened.
She was seen wearing a black cowboy hat, white shirt, and jeans, and appears, not to have a care in the world. She dances with a big group, and
she never felt like for one second she was in danger.
No, just another day.
Another day at the park.
Yep. And the court was told that the footage was shot at the class the day so that's the last known footage of her.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's just, she said that now the boot scooting teacher or the line dancing teacher, Glenn Dale, how do you
I bet that guy's from the States.
I think he is.
Yeah.
If he's not, he's an idiot.
He's like, I'm going to move to Australia and teach them how to dance.
I'm going to go over there and show them how to boot scoot and boogie.
I'm going to get down and turn around, throw myself around.
Stick it in, stick it out. Oops, wrong song.
That's the wrong song.
Wrong website.
I think about Rodney Carrington when he said I had to go get a prostate exam. And I looked down, there was a little Chinese lady. And I was like, damn, wrong place.
Oh, God.
But anyway, the instructor was saying that she put a lot of time and effort into her dancing. And like anything, I think a lot of those people who are very professional, when they do something, they do it 110%.
Yeah, type A personality.
Yeah.
Everything is 100%.
Yeah, and so she wanted to look good and do what the dance entailed, and she didn't want to look like an idiot out there. So,
did you take his report and how they talked to him, how he talked about her? Did you take that as they were trying to angle something there?
They were, and I think that's how his. But any good defense lawyer would have done that.
Oh, of course.
But yeah, they were totally
digging
trying
right there,
to show.
They were trying to tie them together somehow.
Yeah, but they even
he was teaching the mattress mambo and boot scooting.
The trial judge made Mr. Dale get up and give a demonstration of moves that they did called the buttermilk and the twinkle.
I mean, I know it's a murder trial, but how could you hold it together when that's going on?
I don't know, but I think about that damn Bugs Bunny thing where it's like in the holler and they got them two guys. And he goes, take your partner round and round. And he dances them off the cliff.
And everybody's just staring at him like he's a fucking idiot. And they're like, she paid money to do this? What the hell's wrong with her?
Oh.
That's what it was. I think he was jealous that he couldn't dance.
Now, one thing.
Like,
yeah. I can't. I got two left feet and this out there just dancing.
I ain't wearing cowboy boots.
Look at me.
I look stupid.
Now, Dale.
In a 3-piece suit and cowboy boots. Yes, you do.
Yes, you do. Now, you wouldn't if you wore a bolo tie.
Where do I get a bolo tie?
And a Stetson.
I think they probably did in the boot scooting class, like in like martial arts. You get belt ranking. You get
That would make it even better.
You get bolo ties if you can.
And they're different colors.
Different colors. Right.
Jade for your white belt. Silver for your
quartz.
brown.
Quartz is your white belt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's the same colors.
Oh, Jesus. What's the blue one? The turquoise is your like black belt.
Yeah. Hell, I got my turquoise bolo today.
I
can shit kick with the best of them.
I can open 2 beer bottles with my boots.
Shit.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's too good, man. I'm crying over here. All right, so getting back to it. Mr. Dale did tell the court, however, that the scuff marks found on Corryn's boots could not have been made at dance class.
They were not consistent with marks that be left at a dance class.
He said it looks like something that was pulled across a rough structure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's got to be from the States.
Yeah.
And so now the judge ordered that footage of her not to be released to the public because he felt like the family could find it distressing. Now, one thing I did see after we recorded was, right or wrong, the kids are standing behind Dad.
They are. Like stern. They're staunch in their position with it.
And they have told reporters to basically go piss
Bag off, mate.
Go juck one in the corner there, you coot. One thing that I don't understand was they're saying that, well, I apologize. I keep getting it backwards. They're saying she didn't have a coat on. I'm like, well, hell, it was August, but in August down there, it's cold.
Yeah.
So that was a big deal.
I'm glad you said that because when I read that, I was thinking, why did she have it? It's fucking hot as hell out here.
It's August. Jesus, she ain't carrying it. But, never mind.
Never mind. Other side of the world.
Yep. But basically, they said that the nights were getting colder down there, and so they expected her to have one, but, they didn't find one. But somebody had said that she was wearing one which she took off when she entered the dance class. So she may have just left it there because I don't remember a coat being in the evidence, but it may have been. I mean, we talked about so much. But
we really didn't get a good look at any kind of evidence or stuff they had. It was kind of just...
That would have been a hell of a trial to see on court TV.
Wouldn't have been, yeah.
And there may be...
There could be some snippets somewhere.
So now we get into Cody's other theories, and we will kind of give our theory back again. But Cody had a good thing. She said that she thought that Lloyd has some pretty dodgy business work dealings with Reinhardt. We agree now after we read that.
Sure.
There's a lot of motivation there.
Makes a lot of sense.
Because if I can't remember what they're paying me. If you're about to go through a divorce, she's going to get half.
And you're not divulging what kind of money you got if you know you're getting,
And Western Australia is a hub for coal mining in Australia since 2007. So basically that's what that company's doing. They're making killing. So much money was being made over there. It was ridiculous how wealthy these mine owners were. Gina had been mentioned a lot in the media during that time, too. So she owned the mines. He was making sure they couldn't get civilly taken to court, I guarantee you, for environmental stuff or land grabs or whatever. So she was paying him well to keep her ass out of jail.
Right.
And then...
Because everything was legit across the board.
Oh, yeah. It was... Every I was dotted. Winky, winky. She agrees with us, though. She thinks that Lloyd had this hired out.
Hired out for murder? Yeah, I do too.
And God almighty, my tongue is broke. I'm going to Walmart, get me a new one.
Put the needle on the record.
Statistically, what are the odds that a powerful... you can read it if you want to, because obviously I can't fucking talk.
Go ahead. You're good. You're good.
Statistically, what are the odds that a powerful lawyer with important connections is going to have a very expensive divorce, has been secretly recording his wife illegally, and then she gets randomly murdered?
And let's go back to the real quick to the boot scooting class or whatever, and everybody said she seemed normal, and I think she was happy to get away from this guy.
Oh, yeah. Well, think about it, though. She had at the time, the oldest one was, 13 or 14? And so the younger one was 9, I think. I'm not saying I love my kid to death.
Sure.
But between them two ages, if mama could go somewhere for an hour to save her sanity, why not?
Yeah.
I mean, and it sounds like she kind of this was kind of a hobby that she really enjoyed. And so why not? You know, it's a brain break, and
She's trying to get that damn turquoise bolo.
she is. She done got her courts.
I wonder if they I wonder if they ever dance fight.
Off.
A dance fight in one of those.
That would have been funny.
Would have been great.
Shit. We're going to start taking Western line dance. And just
Footloose. I'm going to get mad and rage dance in a warehouse when we leave here.
with a BW. Chicken shit yellow.
I was going to put on a wife
beater
beater
and some jeans.
And down a few cheap beers and
Drive you checked.
Start punching in the air, rolling across the hood of my car.
You got to do your gymnastic moves on on the boards, but the chalk comes off of it.
The chalk comes off of it. Well, it was dust. It was white dust.
Yep.
It wasn't.
It's just a dusty old building. Hell,
I want to dance.
Non-believers. But yeah, I agree with Cody. We kind of echoed it in the first part of this. He's making, there's no telling what they're paying him. I would say millions. Easy. He's got his regular salary where I think they were both making $500,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
He's in gambling. He's got gambling problems.
Mm-hmm.
He's in gambling debt. He's had an affair. She's going to get what she asked for. He's illegally surveilled her.
Mm-hmm.
And what we didn't touch on was they found his ass guilty. I mean, it was kind of cut and dry after we read those laws. I mean, yeah, you're disbarred. That's what we call it here in the States, but they took his practicing license away from him.
What we say in the States is she had him really tight by his short and curlies.
Yes, she did.
He was not coming out of that courtroom in a divorce. He's going to lose.
Yeah, she had him hemmed.
In the States, adulterers, if you can prove it in court of law, they lose. The adulterer gets punished. So I think she probably had enough to continue living extremely comfortable and possibly access this other side job he's got, and she would have been wealthy, like super wealthy.
And the thing is, it seems like that she had started doing her due diligence, and she was a lawyer by trade, so all she needed was for someone to tell her, hey, man, we think he's stepping out with so-and-so. Oh, you think it's so-and-so? And then she can do her own investigation.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
She's got her own people. Yeah. That's why I think that when she went missing, and everybody knew what a shitty person he was. There was no other way to look at it other than if he did not have it done. I mean, if he didn't do it himself, he had it done, and they probably all knew he wasn't man enough to do it himself.
Yeah, And here's my thing. I understand as the kids want to back their dad because that's all they've got left. But the older you get, if you start looking into
putting the pieces of the puzzle together.
Yeah, I mean, he's gone for 18 months, and we made a huge deal out of that. And they were young. He could have missed 2 birthdays of theirs. He's got a gambling problem. He's making money that may or may not be legit.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing some shady shit.
I wonder if they ever checked into his offshore bank accounts.
Probably not. I wouldn't think so.
Man.
I mean, that would have been all over.
Yeah.
But then he stepped out on your mom, and then just so happens they're going to have a talk or a discussion that night
where she disappears and is found murdered.
Yeah, and she doesn't make it home.
Come on.
Yeah, in the States, that's called a lot of circumstantial evidence, and it may not go to court, but her family could have took him to civil court and won.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he would have been paying them the rest of his life.
Like the Goldmans did OJ.
Yeah, OJ. So, yeah, I just, thank you again, Cody. Hopefully we can get you some swag down there to Australia.
If you can get us your information, I will also send you a sticker and a T-shirt from Cigar Store Idiots podcast as well.
It may cost us more than this studio's worth to get it to you,
but it would be cool
worth
for you to have it.
Yes, it is very worth our expenditure to get you this, and we know that you are locked down with 2 small children. Mm-hmm. We pray for you daily.
We will send you some bubblegum juice.
Yes, free bubblegum juice, kids.
Benadryl. Wait, are we trafficking drugs at that point?
Or no, it's over the counter.
Okay, all right.
They got grape flavored bubblegum juice now.
Yeah, they do.
We just had bubblegum juice.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't have a beer of the day because it's just barely 10 a.m., but if you're listening to this in the evening, crack you open one of your favorites and go listen to Cigar Store Idiots. We just did a 3-part on Skidmore, Missouri. And so I'm going to cross-promote that on our social media pages, and we're going to take this Labor Day weekend off, and I hope everyone's safe and enjoys a long weekend, and Rob, I can't thank you enough for helping us out.
Oh, man, thank you for having me. I enjoy it.
And again, I can't thank Cody enough. She is our web internet sleuth from down under.
She's a rock star.
Yes, and if she ever makes it to the States and you somehow made it to Florida, we would drive to Florida. We don't recommend you come to Georgia, but we're not afraid to drive.
Just research what part of Florida you want to stay in.
Yeah, and don't give your significant other a wet willy in the car,
You
because
can
that
get
is
a misdemeanor
battery
assault.
charge.
Yeah.
And if you think we're lying,
And watch out for 60-year-old men with roach spray and nunchucks.
Nunchucks. Those are just a couple of things you need to watch out for.
Yeah, that's why you guys should listen to Cigar Story Idiots when you get bored. We do a What the Florida segment, and Florida's dangerous.
Very, very dangerous.
Not talking about alligators either.
No. We're not talking about the cougars that walk on all fours, but some of them still, though, might.
Depends on how much you had to drink.
Right. Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, deuces.
We out. Later.